welcome to Tuesday night, Celebrate Recovery. My name is Chris, grateful believer in Jesus Christ, who is being sanctified through Jesus Christ. So we're going to cover Lesson 7, Celebrate Recovery Curriculum. And it's based on Principle 4, openly examine and confess my faults to God, to myself, to God, and someone I trust. Principle 4 corresponds with Matthew 5:8, which states, happy are the pure in heart. Our lesson also correlates with Step 4 in the 12-step program. We made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. This basic concept of Step 4 can be found in the book of Lamentations, chapter 3, verse 40, which states, come, let us examine our ways and test them and return to the Lord. So, last month we talked about the importance of having a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. What you found when you made the decision to turn your life and your will over to the care of God. Now you will see that the road to recovery is not meant to be traveled alone. You will find that you actually need 3 relationships. Most important is a relationship with Jesus Christ. In addition, you need a relationship with your recovery group and a church family. Last, you need a relationship of a sponsor or accountability partner. Identifying a sponsor or accountability partner is especially important. Before you begin Principle 4 through 6, in which you work on getting right with God, yourself, and others, Principle 4 is all about getting rid of truth decay, about coming clean. Proverbs 15:4 tells us a wise person is hungry for truth, while a fool feeds on trash. Are you ready to feed on truth about your life? If so, it's time to take the trash out. The trash can get pretty heavy at times, so I don't want you to handle it alone. You need a genuine mentor, a coach, or in recovery terms, a sponsor or accountability partner. Some of you may still be unconvinced that you really need another person to walk alongside you on your road to recovery. So tonight, we're going to answer the 5 following questions. The first one, why do I need a sponsor? 2, what are the qualities of a sponsor? 3, what does a sponsor do? 4, how do I find a sponsor? 5, what's the difference between a sponsor and accountability partner? I'm glad you guys have asked all those questions. Those are good questions, and we're going to get to the bottom of this tonight. So, why do you need a sponsor or an accountability partner? There's 3 reasons that you need a sponsor and accountability partner. Here we go. Number 1, a sponsor or accountability partner is biblical. Ecclesiastes 4:9 through 12 tells us 2 are better off than 1 because they can work more effectively. If one falls down, the other can help him up. But if someone is alone, there's no one to help him. 2 people can resist an attack that would defeat one person. One person alone. But if someone is alone, no one can help him up. So, Proverbs 27:17 says, iron sharpens iron. One person sharpens another. The phrase one another is used in the New Testament over 50 times. So, having a sponsor or accountability partner is a key part of your recovery program. So I want you to think about this for a second. Jesus, who's God manifested in the flesh, during his earthly ministry, did he do it by himself? Was he alone? When he started, he was, but eventually he called people to himself. And eventually 12 of them stuck close by. 3 got really, really close to Jesus. So Jesus, who's God, had people. And you think about Paul, the Apostle Paul, who's responsible for 2/3 of our New Testament, the 13 books out of 27 that Paul wrote. How many people do you think he had in his circle of accountability, sponsors, helpers? How many do you think? You ever thought about this? So, from my research, it's somewhere between 80 to 100 people. And so some of the notable individuals would be Luke, Priscilla and Aquila, Titus, right? I got a couple more. Timothy, Silas, Barnabas. So that's the Apostle Paul. So it's more biblical for us to have people come alongside of us and help us on this journey of recovery and faith, because it isn't meant to be done alone. So it's vital part of this that we have people that we can spend time with and get close to and be able to share the things that we overcome or struggle with, because that's how we build healthy, strong relationships. And that's something that's lacking today in our culture. There isn't this need for a mentor or some kind of sponsor. You know, I think about when I mentioned this before, when I was growing up, I didn't seek out a mentor. I didn't have somebody to mentor me. And you think about the young people today, they don't have people, for the most part, that are mentoring them. They have influencers that are influencing them, and more than likely aren't influencing them in a positive direction. So it's vital that we illustrate the need for mentors in our life. So, do you know what recovery program has 4 key elements to success? If your program includes each of these areas, you are well on your way to a solution of wholeness. So, the first key is maintaining your honest view of reality as you work each step. I have yet to see this program fail if someone who could be completely honest with himself or herself. I have, however, seen some people give up on their recovery because they could not step out of their denial and into God's truth. Having someone help you to keep you honest is the real plus in successfully working the steps. 2, second key, is making your attendance at your recovery group meetings a priority to your schedule. This is key. All right, so we only do this 1 day a week. Are you gonna look like Arnold Schwarzenegger going to the gym once a week, even if you did it for 8 hours for that one time that week? Are you gonna end up looking like Arnold? No, you're not. So it really, anything that's worth doing well, you have to spend time doing it. And if we're honest, our recovery has to be more than just 1 day a week. Truthfully, and spending time with people and choosing people of good character requires us spending time. Because if we don't spend time, we can't accurately know who a person truly is, and if that's the person that we want to come alongside of us on our journey of faith or recovery. So it's key that we spend time, that we make this a priority. Otherwise, it's not going to be done well. So this doesn't include taking the summer off or not going to meetings because it's raining outside. And don't get me wrong, it's great to take a vacation. But after the 2 weeks are up, come back to your meeting. Remember, your hurts, habits, and hang-ups don't take a vacation. You need to make Tuesday nights here at Celebrate Recovery and other meeting nights that you attend a priority. A sponsor or accountability partner can encourage you to attend your meetings. The third key element is maintaining your spiritual program with Jesus Christ through prayer, meditation, and study of His Word. Listen, we're all wired a little bit differently, but myself, I like to get up early. I've just been an early riser for since I got sober, actually. And my wife's not an early riser, so I have the main floor, basement, wherever I want to go to alone, and to read God's Word and so forth, and pray and talk to the Lord. And it's always it amazes me when I try to do this, that all the things that I forgot to do seem to come to mind. And I have to be very intentional. I have to really focus, like, okay, I don't need to do that now. That's not important. What I'm trying to do here is establish prayer to talk with my Father about the things that He needs me to do, what I need to be focused on in reading His Word and understanding it for my benefit, for my family's benefit, and for everybody that I interact with, because this is essential. So we're going to focus more on Principle 7, But you don't have to wait till you get there to develop your relationship with Christ. Your sponsor can pray for you and help you keep centered on God's Word. So the last key element of a successful program is getting involved in service. Once you have completed Principle 8, you will be able to serve as a sponsor. Until that time, however, there are plenty of other service opportunities to get you started. You know, service is nothing but love and works clothes. There are plenty of opportunities to suit up for at Celebrate Recovery. We're looking for people to pitch in and help. If you want to get involved, you can see me, or you can talk with Pastor, or you can talk with your sponsor. We have a plethora of opportunities for you to get involved here. We have a wonderful group of people on Thursday nights that they're not participating in Celebrate Recovery, but nonetheless, most of those people probably don't even attend church here, but they're wonderful people that come here to serve, to set up the grocery store that takes place here on Friday. We got Friday that you can come serve. I mean, there's just so many people, and they just love working together, and it's a great atmosphere to be involved in. You got every second and fourth Saturday that you can come hang out with Pastor, myself, and my wife, that we go out and we serve the surrounding communities, and we get to interact with a lot of people, and it's just overwhelming to see the amount of need that's out here in our communities that I had no idea existed 4 years ago. And so it helps me understand my Bible in action. Because this is what Jesus did. This is what I see Jesus doing in Matthew 25. And throughout his earthly ministry, is serving people. And so, without expression, everyone here needs a sponsor. Without exception, everyone here needs a sponsor, accountability partner. Having a sponsor accountability partner is the best guard against relapse. By providing feedback to keep you on track, a sponsor accountability partner can see your old dysfunctions, self-defeating patterns begin to surface and point them out to you quickly. He or she can confront you with the truth and love without placing blame or guilt. Ecclesiastes 7:5 tells us, it's better to be criticized by a wise man than to be praised by a fool. Think that one through. The trouble with most of us is that we would rather be ruined by praise than saved by criticism. So, what are the qualities of a sponsor? Well, we're going to look at a couple. Here we go. True good advice lies deep within a counselor's heart. The wise man will draw it out. When you are selecting a sponsor, look for the following qualities. Does his walk match his talk? So this is key. How are you going to be able to know this? You're going to have to spend time with them, that individual. So that means spending time with them maybe before you ask them to be your sponsor or accountability partner. You need to see not only what comes out their mouth, but how they live. Is he living the 8 principles? I've known many people who have the 12-step lingo down pat, but their lifestyle doesn't match their talk. Be certain that the person you are choosing as a sponsor is someone's life example is worthy of imitation. You know, when the Christians were first called Christians in Acts chapter 11, it was because they imitated Christ. They were Christ-like. That's God's desire. That's part of the sanctification process, is that we would be indistinguishable from Christ. That's why they would call us Christians, that we would be doing the things that he did. Jesus says in John 14:2 that we're going to do, if we truly believe, we're going to do the same works that he did, and even greater. So we need to make sure that we're walking the same way that we're talking. 2, does she have a growing relationship with Jesus Christ? Do you see the character of Christ developing in him or her? 3, he expressed the desire to help others on the road to recovery. There's a difference between helping others and trying to fix others. We all need to be careful to guard the sponsorship relationship from becoming unhealthy and codependent. 4, does she show compassion and care and hope, but not pity? You don't need someone to feel sorry for you, but you need someone to be sensitive to your pain. As you have often heard, people don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. And number 5, are they a good listener? Do you sense that they are honest and care about what you have to say? Are they strong enough to confront your denial and procrastination? Do they care enough about you and your recovery to challenge you? Do they offer suggestions? Sometimes we need help in seeing options, alternatives that we are unable to find on our own. A good sponsor can take an objective view and offer suggestions. They should not give orders. Can they share their own struggles with others? If they're willing to open up and be vulnerable and transparent, I don't know about you, but I don't want a sponsor who says that they have worked the 8 principles. I want a sponsor who is living and working the 8 principles every day. So what's the role of the sponsor? Let's give you 6 examples of what that looks like. 1, they can be there to discuss issues in detail that are too personal or would take too much time in a meeting. So this is meeting outside of what we do here on Tuesday night. This is especially true in Principle 4. You don't share your complete inventory in a group setting. I'm the lowest life form on earth is a phrase often repeated by those doing their inventory. Others deny, rationalize, and blame. Okay, I admit I did such and such, but I did not kill anybody. Sure, I did A, B, C, but my spouse did D through Z. Compared to my spouse, I'm a saint. All right, I admit it. But I never would have done it if my boss wasn't such a jerk. These are just some of the examples that you may hear people share when they're giving their, sharing their inventory. The sponsor can be there to share his or her own experience to offer strength and hope. You think you're feeling like a bum, but let me tell you how I felt when I did my inventory. The sponsor role is to model Christ's grace, forgiveness, and to give a sense of perspective. Number 2, he's available in times of crisis or potential relapse. I've always told newcomers that I have sponsors. Call me before you take that first drink. You can still take that drink after we talk, but call first. Remember, Ecclesiastes 4:12. 2 people can resist an attack that would defeat 1 person. They serve as a sounding board by providing an objective point of view. This is especially true in Principle 6 when you are dealing with sensitive areas of making amends and offer forgiveness. You need a good sounding board. 4, he is there to encourage you to work the principles at your own speed. This is not the job. It is not the job to work the principles for you. He can coach your progress, confront you when you're stuck, and slow you down when you're working too fast. Number 5, most important, they attempt to model the lifestyle that results from the 8 principles. It's difficult to inspire others to accomplish what you haven't been willing to try yourself. A good sponsor lives the principles. 6, a sponsor can resign or be fired. Sponsorship is not a lifetime position. How do you find a sponsor or accountability partner? The responsibility of finding a sponsor or accountability partner is yours, but let's give you a few guidelines to help you in such a search. First and foremost, the person must be the same sex. No exceptions. There's no explanation needed for this. You're going to share intimate things, and you want to do it with the same sex because we're trying to recover, not get into another relationship, especially if we're struggling with relationships already. So, same sex, no exceptions. 2, can you relate to this person's story? If you are choosing someone to be your sponsor, does she or meet the good qualities of a sponsor that we just covered? 3, if you ask someone to be your sponsor or accountability partner and that person says no, don't take it personally. Remember that their own recovery has to come first. I know a lot of you have asked your small group leader to be your sponsor. They all sponsor others, and the responsibility of leadership is great. If they turn you down, it's not personal. Their plate may be simply too full. If someone turns you down, ask someone else. You can even ask for a temporary sponsor or accountability partner. Remember, these aren't lifetime commitments. 4, most importantly, ask God to lead you to the sponsor. We might start with that one next time. You probably should start with praying first, and then we can come to the rest of these. But pray for God to lead you. So what's the difference between a sponsor and an accountability partner? The sponsor is someone who has completed the 4 Celebrate Recovery participant guides and has worked through the 8 principles and 12 steps. He or she has met the 6 requirements that we talked about in the role of a sponsor. The main goal of this relationship is to choose someone to guide you through the program. An accountability partner is someone you ask to hold you accountable for certain areas of your recovery or issues, such as meeting attendance, journaling, and so forth. This person can be at the same level of recovery as you are. Unlike the sponsor, they should have completed the 8 principles or 12 steps. Their main goal of this relationship is to encourage one another. You can even form an accountability team of 3 and 4. Doesn't need just to be one person. Accountability partner or group acts like a team where the sponsor's role is that of a coach. All right, so you can start forming accountability teams in your small groups tonight. When you share, just ask if someone is interested. Let God work and see what happens. I guarantee you this. Nothing will happen if you don't ask. So start looking for and building your support team tonight. All right, let's close in the serenity prayer. And then we'll take a couple minute break. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace. Taking, as Jesus did, this sinful world as it is, not as I would have it. Trusting that you will make all things right if I surrender to your will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you forever in the next. Amen. All right, 5-minute break. Enjoy your group. Thanks for being here tonight. See you in 5 minutes.